Hello, my powerful one. I'm going to introduce you to not very much spoken about energetic archetype of Ice Queen, how it plays a role in our business, how it can be a gift but also a curse, and how you absolutely need to work with your Ice Queen if you want to increase your client engagement and so much more. So I hear you want to boost your client engagement. You want your clients to engage with you on social media, in emails, reply to your emails, give you those likes and comments, and build amazing, buzzing community of your super ideal clients. And most importantly, get those clients to lovingly take and excitingly take action and invest in your services. And it's not happening? Well, what you can do is maybe Google how to increase and boost client engagement, and you'll get lots and lots of advice. Or you can go to the core of it and work with your energetics. And that's what we're going to do today. Because I'm going to introduce you to not very much spoken about energetic archetype of Ice Queen, how it plays a role in our business, how it can be a gift but also a curse, and how you absolutely need to work with your Ice Queen if you want to increase your client engagement and so much more. So let's get to it. In case we don't know each other, hello, my name is Lenka Lutonska. I'm a best-selling author of energetic selling and marketing and queen of business energetics. And I dearly love working with energy, and that's what I dedicated my life to, and teach you, my dear clients, how to do so because it's life-changing. But anyway, let's get to the topic. Say hello in the comments if you're here for the first time, or if you are my darling follower, I will love to hear from you. So what is the archetype of Ice Queen? If you've been around me for a while, you definitely will have heard me speaking about the energetic archetype of the Queen, which is, if you like, the archetype of woman that is standing in her full value. It's you when you just know who you are, you have got well-defined boundaries because you know who you are. That's the definition of boundaries. So your self-awareness is very powerful. And you really draw the value vertically from within yourself. You don't need anything outside of yourself, clients, results, those likes or anything like that to give you the value or that praise that, okay, you're valuable because you are doing a great work. You draw it from within you. And I consider really activating and embodying the queen archetype, the high value woman archetype, absolutely essential for any powerful spiritual entrepreneur that wants to make a huge difference in the world. Because, well, what is the opposite of it is the archetype of inner prostitute, i.e., when we are sourcing that value horizontally. So we tend to overgive and exhaust ourselves, push our clients up that hill, do whatever we can to help them, only to be tired, exhausted, underpaid, and sometimes with a feeling of resentment. So it's very difficult to build a successful business that makes a huge impact on the archetype of prostitute. So this is a big work. Embodying the queen archetype is a very important work for every purpose-driven woman in business. However, on this journey, what can also sometimes happen, or it can happen anyhow, we can unconsciously start building the ice around us. And the queen, yes, it has got its shadow archetype, and that is the Ice Queen archetype. It is when we start closing our heart. Whereas the queen archetype, when we are in a full value, has got her heart fully open, and therefore it's very easy for her, for you, when you're in your queen archetype, to connect with others on a heart-to-heart basis. Therefore, it's very easy to create that client engagement because other people and your clients can relate to you, they can feel you. That's not so much case with the ice queen archetype. What happens with the ice queen, and the main reason why so many women unconsciously fall into that archetype and or start building ice, or sometimes from the very young age, the underlying cause of it is suppressed or rejected, wounded inner child, or victim. In other words, because it's a little bit painful and uncomfortable, sometimes very painful, especially if there is unresolved trauma, especially childhood trauma, to go in and to embrace ourselves, embrace our vulnerability. So start building this ice around us, closing our heart. So how does it show up in our business? Well, if you like, the full extent of this ice queen archetype is what we would call narcissistic personality disorder. But I don't even want to go there because I think we're being unjust many times and just say she's narcissist, he's narcissist to pretty much anyone who portrays some behaviors connected with the narcissistic personality disorder. So I don't even want to go there, but it's essentially, it's like this protective mechanism. Ice Queen archetype is this protective mechanism, this wall that keeps us safe and we don't need to go within. But it's not to say that any of you or me can't develop some level of that ice queen, that ice around us. So what do we do? Well, or can we recognize that we indeed have built some ice around us and portray this ice queen archetype characteristics? First and foremost, we will really be concerned about our reputation. So those of you that do feel that your reputation is number one, that are really cautious of people who could damage your reputation, or you could do something that could damage your reputation, that's one of the first big red flags that you might have built some ice around you, which means is that you're not yet really fully developed those boundaries and self-awareness, who you really are, because the queen, not the ice queen, is not concerned with her reputation at all because she knows who she is. She knows nothing and no one can take away anything from her unless she gives it herself. So nobody can damage your reputation, even if somebody decided to really, I don't know, criticize you publicly, or many people criticize you publicly, you would not be concerned. You would feel, if anything, compassion for those people, but certainly not a fear or anger or anything like that, that, you know, all these people or that person is going to damage my reputation. So being scared of your reputation or putting reputation very much high up in the hierarchy of values, like it's super important, that's the first indication, I may have built some ice around me. My heart is not fully opened. Now, as the queen with open heart, she fully trusts herself. And because she fully trusts herself, by definition, she fully trusts others. Because here's the thing, as the queen, you would not put anyone else, other people, clients, etc., other colleagues in your marketplace, you would not put others above you, but you would not them below you either. So nobody above me, nobody below me is well embedded belief of the queen. With the ice queen is not quite so. The ice queen often puts herself above anyone else. There is this superiority going on, or it can be developed over time. As in, I'm highly involved, I've done my maybe spiritual journey, I'm very evolved, and therefore I know more than even my coaches, and therefore it's not fair that some of them are paid more than me. So there's this unfairness going on. But, I know more than anyone. I am better than anyone. Maybe that, as the ice queen, you wouldn't want to admit it to yourself that you feel like it, but you are driven by this unconscious belief that I know better, or I am the best, so to speak. And therefore, there's also no trust towards other people. I know the best would be the belief. And so therefore, if there is maybe, for instance, the feedback from community or from some clients, it would be almost like, bye bye, Felicia, I don't want to, you got different point of view, you don't belong to my space. Bye bye, I know the best. Whereas as the queen with open heart, it's not to say that you need to take every piece of feedback like right here, that's true, that's true, that's true, that's true. That would be reactive consciousness, jumping on every piece of feedback, but not rejecting anyone, and certainly, be able to trust other people as well, because there is learning. Because essentially, as the queen with open heart, you know that other people, including your clients, including your naysayers, including your critics, including your team members, and everyone else, is simply an extension of your consciousness. We are experiencing ourselves through them. So the queen would deal with the feedback very differently than the ice queen. And the queen has got no issue with extending the trust onto other people, for instance, the team members. So it's a lot easier to build amazing team around her. It wouldn't make issues to extend trust to clients, that she's attracting perfect for her clients and trusting in their abilities, trusting in their goodness, etc., etc. Whereas for the ice queen, it's very, very difficult. So as the ice queen, oftentimes, I already mentioned that there's this, they feel that sense of unfairness. I should be so much further, or she is, her work is not as evolved as mine. I know already so much better. I'm so much more evolved, yet she's more successful than me. Be careful, because that is one of the indications that there is that ice going on. The queen, on the other hand, doesn't think like that. This is something that I had to, if you like, alchemize in me in past, where I felt that sense of unjust, that, I saw some of my perhaps colleagues or coaches that they're making so much more money than me, but with less integrity, and things like that. And that's all that was, is I built that ice around me as the cover for the heart, for the inferiority, in fact, for the fact that I felt not good enough, which is always the case, that ice, that superiority is essentially covering the access to that inferiority, something, vulnerability that wants to be looked at and alchemized. So that, it's a good indication of ice skin, but also poo-pooing other people's methodologies or approaches or mindsets or perspectives. Like, that's not, I don't know why she's teaching that, because that's so last century and that's rubbish, and my methods are better, my methods are superior, my methods are right. That's definitely also the ice queen archetype. Ice queen would be a lot more concerned about competition, even if she doesn't want to admit it to herself. She just needs to be the best, full stop. She wants to be the best. Whereas the queen can much more easily sink into this mindset, if you like, or consciousness, as we're in this all together. It doesn't matter what you offer, how you offer, what you teach, how you coach, what you coach, how you... It doesn't matter. We're all doing this together, and I'm creating my own market through my God's work. So if I have a desire, there is a market. I'm creating it with how I let that voice, the God's voice, if you like, out. Whereas the ice queen will be much more concerned about competition and, I've got to block people or be careful that my clients don't take my expertise, etc., etc. Similarly, there would be almost like possessiveness over her art, over her voice, over her creation. Like, this is my stuff, this is my toy, okay? And if you're gonna use it, full credit given, please, and million trademarks, etc., etc. This is another area that, for me, this has been in recent years one of the biggest huge breakthroughs and openings for more, when I realized that I was doing that. I was taking almost possessiveness, even though I wouldn't admit it consciously, but when I did, I had to go there the last took care of it, and I had to go there. And I realized that actually I was taking possessiveness over business energetics. I wrote the book, the original. And when my clients were making amazing money and impact with it, I felt, what was it, jealousy or unfairness? But of course, that was just stuff that was not well integrated within me, which is completely different now. So that's very, very important, I believe, to work on, because again, until we need to find that we guard ourselves, that what the Ice Queen would do, guard our expertise, guard our heart, the voice, which is the gift, which is your millions, which is your impact you want to make in the world, which is the freedom that you want, which is everything, cannot come out fully, full stop. And yes, lastly, I will mention one more trait of the Ice Queen, which again, I'm talking from the personal experience, and that is that because there's that quiet sense of grandiose and a little that eyes going on, it's almost like assuming that the environment should mind read what I desire and adjust accordingly, instead of, as a queen, asking powerfully and leaning into support and asking for it with open heart, sometimes being vulnerable about it. I've noticed it some time ago that has been actually happening in my relationship, in my marriage, that I would expect my husband to sometimes mind read what I want instead of me asking it. And when he didn't get the message, when he didn't mind read or what I need, I would get upset. So this is just one other indication here that may be a protective eyes around, and we want to look within and alchemize it so that heart can open more. Now, what is the path of working and alchemizing the Ice Queen? Well, it's a little uncomfortable path, because first and foremost, what's required is honesty. So if you're listening to this and you can recognize yourself in some of these traits and characteristics and behaviors and choices, then it's a good way to start, as in, yes, I have built some eyes around me, and seeing the benefit of actually opening your heart, because they're huge. They're huge. I mean, the Ice Queen in business will have very, very hard time to establish that heart-to-heart connection with the clients, which is really the basis of client engagement, of easy, effortless selling, of the most powerful service, etc., etc. So willingness to go there is important. And what I would suggest is really watch out for what you most reject in your environment. So if you reject victims, if you reject people that are, let's say, stupid or don't know as much as you, or what you reject in your environment, those are reflecting what you're rejecting in yourself. Say if it's a victim's, like you can't stand victim attitude and you reject it, like go away, I'm not going to deal with this. Maybe you have a client that is in a victim consciousness, you will just, I don't want to know about it. So that's a good indication you really, really want to look within. It will give you an idea what to work with. Sometimes it's advisable to actually do this with help perhaps of professional therapist, because especially, and this is a little bit of disclaimer, especially if you have a sense that there is some unresolved deep-seated trauma, especially the childhood trauma, because I know that it's completely safe to go there. It can be uncomfortable. It can be painful to open up those wounds and actually start embracing those vulnerabilities. It can take you to the childhood, etc., etc. Now, just again, as a disclaimer, I do not believe in things such as suppressed memory. It's not that something will come up that you didn't know you have. It's actually very dangerous territory to believe in deeply suppressed memories, but that's another topic. Still, if you would know if there is some unresolved trauma, and if you feel that you have unresolved trauma, it's always common sense is, work with that with the help of a professional, right? Other than that, it's really about embracing and even finding value in the victim, inner victim, that which you reject. A wounded child, learning to be our best, incredible parent, the most loving, most supportive parent. So that's the journey in a nutshell. Plus, of course, you want to stretch yourself in the direction of open heart. So if it's hard for you to be vulnerable, and by the way, genuinely vulnerable, because Ice Queen can get vulnerable if it's by design. If she knows it's almost calculated, oh, I'm going to show some vulnerability, but only if it's going to show me ultimately in a good light and I'm going to profit from it, that's kind of calculated vulnerability. But genuine vulnerability, that when you say, I effed up, when you say, this is, I've done this mistake, I've done that, when you genuinely open your heart, if that really stretches you, allow yourself to do a little more of that, even if it's uncomfortable, or maybe trust other people. Allow yourself to, yes, open your heart even to pain of being disappointed, because until we keep running away from pain, we create a painful life. That's huge disservice. We're making huge disservice to ourselves if we are running away from negative emotions. There is no danger in feeling the negative emotions. In fact, it's just one of the skills we all got to develop to, I have such a strong, I had a vision, if you like, in a dream, that is how to work with pain and negative emotion that can this working with the Ice Queen bring. And that is that scarecrow in the field where you let that wind, which is that emotion, pass through every cell of you, and you feel it, knowing that you alchemize and you're letting it go through. It's such a strong metaphor, which if I could pass it over to you, there is no danger in the wind. There is no danger in feeling pain or disappointment or vulnerability or anything like that. But we make it so. And in fact, when we allow ourselves to feel it, it can be a huge, powerful alchemical moment, and heart is opening. With each piece of this work, the heart is opening, and that as the heart is opening more naturally and in even unconscious ways, you will treat your clients differently, speak to clients differently, market your clients differently, sell clients differently, serve clients differently, treat your team members differently, hire differently, nurture, create the culture different. Everything will be different. The heart will be opening more and more. And that is the true queen. That is the basis of creating so much success for you and for everyone evolved. So that's the basis of limitless success. So anyway, hopefully this has been helpful in some way. Let me know what you're taking out of this, and I will see you next time. So much love your way. Bye-bye.